not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day. A brand new day. A sunny day. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Oh yeah. Sha-la-la-la-la, sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. But that's okay, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. So if you don't like the weather, don't worry. It's not the end. It's not the end. You don't like the government, it's alright. It's not the end. It's not the end. This is the end.
I am here, Creator, good of all, Creator, good of all, Creator, good of all. I'm here, of all, Creator, good of. For the greater, you are for the greater good, greater. We are here, Creator, good of all, Creator, good of all, Creator, good of all. We're here. Good of all. I am here, good of all, good of all, of all. For the great of all. You are for the greater good of all, greater good of all, greater good of all. You are here, good of all, good of all. For the greater, we are the greater good of all, greater good, greater good, greater.
I was always rushing everywhere, going from town to town, playing my music, living my dream, when suddenly the world shut down. The virus hit us just like that. I didn't know what I'd do, but I quickly found out love and kindness was gonna get me through. Love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. So many of us have been hurting, so many of us are unsure. Will we ever go back to normal? Will they ever find a cure? I thank God each day that I wake up that my loved ones are still here. I have faith and I have hope. I won't be ruled by fear. I choose love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. This all happened for a reason, there's no doubt in my mind. This is the changing season, we must leave our ways behind. I believe in love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. Love and kindness each and every day.
To the one and only my soul is open.
am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Hello and welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. So what does that mean? That means we have a group of 10 different faith perspective speakers and 10 different sets of musicians. And at the beginning of each 10-week series, we choose a one-word topic. We send it out to all of them and they each get a week to take their turn and send in, the speakers send in a message on the video and the musicians send in 2 videos with music. And we do the hello and goodbye, send it all to Philip and his tech team, and they put it together and create what you are watching now.
Yes, beautifully.
I don't know if it's that easy of a poof, but whatever. So, if you would like to join this and become a People of Diversity supporter, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org. In the center of that page, the first page, there's a donate button. You can press that and you can set up a regular tithe, or you can make a one-time donation, love offering, whatever you would like to call it, and we would greatly appreciate it. We pay all of our speakers and we pay our musicians and we pay our tech team, and the pod also tithes, so your money goes to good places.
Yes.
Yes.
Last week we heard from our Baha'i representative, our first talk on Judgement. Dean Martineau gave us a great talk, and Victor Morgado gave us 2 awesome videos to accompany it. Today we have Sensei Dave Vidito and Miss Donna Frost. And next week we have Native American Will Davis with Brother Keith Leon, fellow RV traveler. He's doing all kinds of wonderful things with the movie that he created too. He's getting all kinds of wonderful awards and things.
If you don't follow Keith, go online and check him out. Last name's Leon. L-E-O-N.
Doing wonderful things in the world, yes. You can get past services. You can get little dings on Sunday morning. You can get an interaction through the week if you choose it at the People of Diversity page or group on Facebook. And you can search for, again, old videos or just interact with the community as we're dancing around. Also, we have a YouTube channel that is growing and building. If you'll go to that and subscribe to that, you'll be able to interact live on Sunday morning, just like on Facebook, except not on Facebook. So I will monitor the YouTube, Becky will monitor the Facebook, and someone will be there to say hi to you always. So join us at either one of those places. In the afternoon on Sunday, we do a rebroadcast of the morning service at 5:45 on Facebook. And that gives you a chance to double back and catch a second round, which is what we do. Or perhaps you're with your home church in the morning and you want to double back and pick up what happened that morning at the pod. It is there for you to play with. Also, it's a cool thing to send back to a friend or shoot off to a friend who you think it might vibe with or connect with. So that's available. And I think that's all I know.
Each week we bless a country. So if you know anything about the country you are blessing next week, send it to the email address below and we'll use it in our country blessing. Pictures, stories, whatever. Next week is Philippines. This week we are blessing Peru.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Roofy pictures.
Yeah. So Peru is located on the Pacific Ocean in central South America. It's twice the size of Texas and has 34.5 million people. It's 81% Roman Catholic and 13% evangelical. Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world at 12,500 feet elevation. Lots of cool stuff going on in that lake too. I was amazed. I never knew this. The Amazon River, which is the second largest river in the world, longest river in the world, begins in the Peruvian Andes. I know it goes through at least 3 countries, but I didn't realize that it actually begins in Peru. That's pretty cool.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. This is really, I love this. There are pink dolphins in the Amazon River. These dolphins are born gray, but as they become more and more pink the older they get. And this picture, must be a really old dolphin because it is bright pink. Would make Barbie jealous. So the Amazon rainforest covers 60% of the country, and that rainforest includes incredible diversity with over 3 million plant and animal species. 3 million species. Oh, goodness.
Biologist dream.
Sorry, yep. On my bucket list. And our last fact about Peru is the 15th century Inca city, Machu Picchu, is located in southern Peru on an 8,000-foot mountain ridge. That's way up there, too. And that is Peru's most famous landmark and a very popular pilgrimage site. I know a lot of people that have been to Machu Picchu, and say it's just amazing and beautiful. So let's hold the people of Peru in our hearts, knowing they want the same things in their lives that we want in ours. We wish them abundance and blessing and love and peace and the ability and desire to keep their natural resources flourishing, because that's such a huge part of what they are. So we hold them in our hearts and we say these words together. May peace prevail in Peru. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
All right, let's dive right into it. We will hear 2 songs from Miss Donna Frost. It's cold, so she'll be inside on the back porch, I assume.
Maybe.
God, I love her so much. And we're sending extra love to her as she's doing some grieving in her life. And we will also hear, I'm sure, an interesting and amazing talk from Sensei Dave Vidito on Judgment.
Hello everybody, Donna Frost coming to you from Hendersonville. It's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside. We had 8 inches of snow this week, so I will not be showing you anything from outdoors today, but I have my Christmas tree still up, and there's my angel, and if you look, there's my backyard. Looking out my back door, look at all that snow. And there's more coming. So thought I'd share that with you. I'll leave my Christmas tree up till February just because, and I'm glad I did because it just makes me happy. And before I get started, of course, we had a sad week here. My little companion of 9.5 years, Eddie, my little dog, he passed away on Tuesday here at home with me. He had a brief illness, kind of caught us off guard. I never would have dreamed he would just go so fast, but he did. But he went peacefully here at home on his own terms. He died. I did not have to make the call to do that. He just passed peacefully, and he meant so much to me, as you know. And I want to thank everybody that's reached out to me with calls and text messages and emails, and also for donating to our GoFundMe to help me out with my expenses for Eddie. So it's greatly appreciated. So today our topic is Judgment, and I'm going with 2 songs from The Beautiful Unseen that I think will go well with the message today. I hope so. I think it will. This first song Jack Howell wrote, and it's called The High Road. And if we must disagree, heaven knows I will take the high road. there. But when you care, you almost share a lane on the high road. Out of the noise, I haven't his. Clarity lingers, mercy awaits on the high road. The high road. Love is true, there's nothing left to do. Spend the days ahead on the high road. I confess, this wilderness is better for my heart on the high road. Out of the noise, I haven't his. Clarity lingers, mercy awaits on the high road. Every time we give in, every angry word unsaid, when we live and let live from the heart, not the head. Out of the noise, I haven't his. Clarity lingers, mercy awaits on the high road. 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 And the second song I want to play is also in the Beautiful Unseen. Jack Howell and I wrote this song. And, a lot of time, the homeless community, this is a huge problem in our country. There are so many homeless people here right now, and a lot of them are veterans, and just doesn't seem right. And a lot of times people have opinions about the homeless. They just automatically think that if they're homeless, they're bums, or they're drunks, or they're drug addicts, and that's not always the case. Bad things happen to good people every day, and therefore the grace of God go you and I. That's just how it is. The homeless are very special to me. I volunteer with my music twice a month at Room in the Inn on Drexel Street, and it's a wonderful organization, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. And so I would like to share this song today for part 2 of my contribution to the service, and it's called If It Were You. Met a man today, he was following a dream, found an open door, lost his self-esteem. Love was around him, sleeping in his car. that'll do it from here. And thank you so much for having me today. God bless you all.
Good morning. My name's Dave Vivito with Open Mind Zen, and I'll be your speaker today. So the topic is judgment. And I find that the word judgment is a very loaded word for me. And so just to kind of set the stage before I start, during my teenage years, my family got caught up in Christian fundamentalism. And there, the idea of judgment kind of have this sticky, molasses, dark feeling come over my body when I think of judgment. Judgment is everywhere, right? You're taught in that fundamentalist, simplistic way of looking at the world that you are being judged from on high and by the community. And if you don't measure up, you are ostracized or you're sinning. And so it has a very heavy feel to me. So that's where I started when I was thinking about the word judgment for the talk today. And so I decided to look around at what some of the other Buddhist teachers have to say on this topic for inspiration. And I found something that I particularly liked. And it's an article written by Corrado Penza. The article I found is from 2018, but I think this is from a book that he did back in the 90s. And the article was Judging Mind versus Discerning Mind. And I found this to be particularly good. And so today I'm going to kind of use this as a model for what I want to speak to today. So I'll quote him in a few cases, but I did want to give him credit because I thought he covered this very well. Because I think it's important to distinguish between the mind that judges and a mind that is discerning. And they really aren't the same thing. A judging mind, there's a compulsiveness to it, almost a pushing of yourself onto others. If I'm judging someone, I'm pushing my opinions, ideas, philosophies, religion, whatever it is. I'm pushing that onto others. I'm setting a fixed standard for other people to meet. In a way, it's a hindrance. It gets in the way of having a true relationship with that person. I am judging. I am setting a standard. I have an expectation. Discerning mind is a little different. If you really just kind of reflect on what it is to discern, with discerning, there's more of a receptivity, more of a humility, more of an acceptance, an openness. And both of these can grow over time with practice. The discerning mind can grow with practice, right? With a mindfulness practice, with a loving kindness practice. The more you have these sorts of practices, the more discerning you can be to where I can see what's going on. And I can have an opinion, but not hold so heavily onto that opinion. But at the same time, judging mind, right, can grow over time. If I practice being judgmental, then over time I become more fixed to my ideas, more entrenched in the way things should be. So judging versus discerning, I think it's an interesting thing to look at. In a sense, discerning mind is an empty mind, whereas a judging mind is clogged with the opinions and attachments of those opinions. So that's from Corrado Penza. And he goes on to say, I think we could say that judging mind is a mind which always already knows, all the time it already knows. So there's something solid, something hard in a judging mind. In a discerning mind, however, there is something soft and free, light and flowing. And this really resonated with me, particularly with that background in fundamentalism, because there was no flexibility in a fundamentalist viewpoint. You either measure up to this ideal extracted from a book written back in the Stone Age by an ancient people, and it applies to all people in all situations around the world in the universe. That's just the way it is. and that always it never worked for me. It always rubbed me the wrong way. So whereas a discerning mind, like take the precepts of Buddhism, very similar to the Ten Commandments, not exactly the same, but similar. Precepts more lay out things that you should consider, things that others have found have been successful in the past. There's an openness of freedom, and I think that's why I've gravitated toward Buddhism, because there are guidelines and guideposts and ways that the teachings, the Dharma, suggests that you should live your life, but they're softer. Each of us has to find our path. That's the discerning mind. It's, what does this mean for me? What is healthy for me? What do I need in this moment? It's not a hard and fast comparison against a rigid line, a rigid rule. That's where judging comes in. How did I do against that rule? Am I a sinner? Have I failed? Have I let down the community? So that's more the judging perspective. And the discerning, it's more I have a flexible, honest view of myself, of others, of the situation. And from that open and honest perspective, what now? What now? And there's a certain freedom there, a flexibility that comes with the discerning mind. Now, from a traditional Buddhist perspective, so what is judging? Judging mind is a manifestation of the three main intoxicants: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And there's almost an emotional charge on top of all of this. So if you think back to when you've been judged, in a situation where you have felt judgment from others, as I try to reflect back on those moments, what were your feelings in the moment while you were being judged? It depends on the person and the situation, of course, but failure, sometimes shame, depending on how strong the community is and the sense of judgment by community. A lot of things are being projected onto you in those situations. But what about when it's reversed? Because we've all judged other people. I don't think it's possible to be human and not judge other people. It is our default behavior is to label. Our default behavior is to put everyone into a box. They're well understood. They don't have to think about it. I know what to expect. So we've all done it. And think back to those moments where you've had a judgment about someone. What are you pushing onto that person? What environment are you creating for that person? Are you creating a self-perpetuating cycle with that? And if you think back to those moments, think of the inflexibility of that judgment, right? It's rooted in that idea, right? That opinion. It's fixed. And there's very little room for movement with that. Judgments, this is from the author, judgments, acts of attachment, acts of aversion, therefore, are also seeds for further attachment and aversion. This means basically that judging mind is suffering, and judging mind is a cause for further suffering. The invaluable benefit of practice is that it can show us, usually in a very gradual way, this distinct quality of suffering which is connected with judging mind. And so our goal with practice really is to let go of attachments. Not to eliminate attachments, but to let go of unhealthy attachments. And often when you're judging, right, when there's attachment, aversion, or ignorance, sometimes judgment is from a place of ignorance. I don't know what's going on in everyone's life. And so by judging that person, again, what have I placed upon them? And it's suffering for myself in addition to pushing this onto other people. Suffering in the sense that I have an attachment to the idea, and when the world or the people around me don't live up to that fixed idea that I'm attached to, then I'm disappointed, right? I'm unsatisfied. Suffering, dukkha in Sanskrit. So attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Attachment, aversion, and ignorance. Now, the two, judging mind and discerning mind, can look very much the same from the outside. And again, from the author here, I may think that a particular person, for instance, is rather false, is not a truthful person. Is this discerning mind or judgment mind? What is the difference between the two minds? We may have the same statement, but in the judging mind, the same statement is accompanied by aversion. The discerning mind, on the other hand, is more acting from a place of peace, equanimity. So in saying discerning mind, it's not to say that I don't recognize something as unhealthy or a situation as dangerous. A discerning mind is looking, right, receiving what's going on and deciding. But internally, it's working from a place of peace, equanimity, not that fixed place of aversion or, boy, you shouldn't have. Shame on you. Internally, it's very different. And that's why the practice is so important. If you're cultivating your life, mindfulness, loving kindness, compassion, it's much easier to work from that place. That becomes the starting point. And from there, discernment. And from there, I can choose. This is the path of the Bodhisattva, right? The Bodhisattva, the enlightened being who's achieved enlightenment, but not going anywhere because there's so many other people to save. Working from that place of compassion, kindness, that is the foundation. That is the foundation of discerning. And if you really are dealing or working from a place of compassion, how can there not be action? Compassion isn't this gooey feeling that we have about the world. Compassion is sharing the passion, co-passion, right? I feel what you're feeling, and I am going to do what I can. I can't always fix things. Sometimes I can only be present with you. But compassion stirs action. I think judgment inspires a pulling away. Right? You're not right. You did this wrong. You didn't live up to my standard. Right? That puts up a barrier. Whereas discerning mind, compassionate mind, you're jumping in. So they can look the same, but internally they're not. One is rigid and fixed, and one is flexible and flowing. And I think it's easy to fool yourself and to think you're doing one when you're actually doing the other. I think it's very easy to think that, I practice mindfulness. I practice Zen. Therefore, I'm being discerning. Well, if you're honest with yourself, and I'm honest with myself, that's not always the case. I am human. Attachment, aversion, ignorance, those are deeply entrenched in who we are. And so they sneak in. Even if you're actively practicing, they sneak in. And so it's important as part of the practice to actively watch, be discerning of not what's just around, but be discerning of what's going on inside. What are those hidden motivations? What is my karma of this moment? What are all the things that led to this moment that are influencing me right now? And because attachment, aversion, and ignorance are so deeply entrenched, all the more important that we practice whatever our tradition is. Your practice must be with a teacher and with a community, because nothing will keep you honest with yourself more than a teacher or peers in your community, your sangha, your congregation. Get a little high and mighty, if you will, and you need somebody to call you out. It's part of the practice. We need people in our lives to nudge us once in a while, because it can be very difficult to be self-discerning, to see ourselves, to experience ourselves, because by definition, we are too close. It's the hardest thing to see is ourselves. And so all the more important to have a teacher and a practice and a sangha to work with. And I think it's an interesting practice question. Can you ever truly be without attachment, aversion, or ignorance? Is that even possible? I don't know that it is. And I'm okay with that. But what I do know is that my ability to grow in compassion, mindfulness, caring for myself and others, that I can cultivate that and I can grow that. And at the same time, as part of my practice, I can monitor and watch that when I'm attached, when there's aversion, when am I being ignorant? I'm ignorant more often than not. We all are. There's more that we don't know than we will ever know. So can I recognize that? Can I work with it? Not suppress it, but work with it, recognize it, and then cultivate compassion, loving kindness. Move from that space of judging to discernment, healing, love. Judging mind is a barrier to healing. It's a barrier to reconciliation, to growth, to change. Whereas discerning mind supports healing, reconciliation, growth, change. All of these things are possible from that place of discernment, connection. But don't mistake me though. Don't want discerning mind, the practice, to be an excuse or create the possibility of you staying within a toxic situation. There are toxic situations out there. There are dangerous situations out there. And you don't want to remain in those, in this, what I'll call a misguided attempt to show compassion. There are times when we do need to protect ourselves. And so right action might mean pulling yourself away. That's part of discernment. There's a flexibility with discernment. What is right for this moment? Recognizing it may not be the same thing that was right last time or next time, but what right now, what do I need in this moment? Is it engaging? Is it connecting? Is it listening? Is it stepping away? There is no right answer. And I think that's why one of the things that makes Zen challenging for folks is I think by our nature, we want simple answers. We want yes or no. Do this or you're wrong. Do this or you're sinning. And Buddhism has none of those answers for you. It has suggestions and guidelines. But it's a recognition that the world, that we are complex beings, complex and nuanced and strange in our own beautiful way. So every moment is unique. And this is the mindset of the Bodhisattva. Being flexible, engaging, doing what we can for the world. There's a poet, Shantideva, 8th century Buddhist poet, said something interesting. And this is the quote, Shantideva. If someone hits you with a stick, you don't get angry at the stick because the stick was moved by that person. Now that person was moved as well. So why are you angry at that person? Again, looking at the deeper motivations for why we do what we do, whether it's from that place of discernment or judgment, right? Our reactions in life are guided by our karma. So if our foundation is rooted in loving kindness, compassion, and mindfulness, this leads to healthier actions, kindness and connection. If our foundation is anger, fixed opinions, or for many of us, trauma, it's easy to see where that foundation leads to another set of reactions to the world. And it's easier to see how that foundation very much leads to fixed ideas, right? or learned responses, which may have been healthy in the moment when the trauma occurred, but they're not always as we get older and move on in life. Right? Those fixed ideas, that foundation, that anger, the opinion, the trauma, can lead to entrenched ideas, right? Which can put us into that space of judging, judgmental behavior. And as much as we practice loving kindness and compassion, I think we are always a mix of the two. And it's healthy to recognize that we are complex. And so there's no reason to feel shame or disappointment when I get angry. And I do get angry. But I find the more that I practice, the less that I hold on to that anger. When I was a kid, you know how you get angry when you're a kid? Tempers are always flaring, I think, when you're young. Passions, I should say, are always flare when you're young. I remember being angry with my neighbor, just lived up the street. And I have no idea what it is. It was 50 years ago, not quite 50 years ago. But at the time, I was not going to let go. And I stayed mad the whole summer. So it's very easy for us to fall into that. And it's almost self-perpetuating if you're not careful. When you feel angry, there's a certain comfort in coming back to that anger. If I feel aversion, disgust towards something, it's almost easier to feel comfortable with that and just make assumptions about people and situations. It takes more energy to be open. It's more of a challenge to be open. It takes energy to be discerning, to be open, to be aware, and approach each moment as it is, just as it is. Discerning mind is rooted in what Buddhists will call wise attention, which is capacity to see something and look at it at the same time, right? To experience something and then look at it with this discerning mind without attaching. We experience a situation, even to be, say, angry, just to pick one. And with wise attention, I'm able to watch my anger. And then with that, this sort of distance that I have, this separation that I can create, it puts you in a different space where the anger, instead of holding on to it, it runs its course. And then you're able to move on to what's next. What is next? What is this moment calling for? So I think I'll stop there, but kind of a number of different things I've touched upon, but it all comes down to internally, just reflecting on this internally, the difference between judgment and discernment. All the things, the place that you have to be to have more of this flexible discerning, kindness, compassion, mindfulness. Take time in your practice to cultivate those aspects of your life. Because that gives you this foundation so that you can see the world honestly, or as honestly as we can. We can see ourselves as honestly as we can. We can recognize that often we don't know. That's ignorance. We don't know. And not knowing is okay. I don't have to make up a story and push a story onto somebody else or push a story onto me. I can say to myself, I don't know. But let's see what's next. What can I do? What is this situation called for? And those are the things that come out of discernment. So I'll encourage you to work with that over the next week or so. And so why don't we now do a short meditation exercise? And go ahead and just kind of settle in. And whether you're sitting on the floor or a chair or wherever you're sitting, and just sit upright, comfortable, and hands in your lap. Just start off with some deep breathing. All the way in. Just a moment. Out. Hold it just a moment out. And in. Just repeat that. Just notice your breathing. Feel your breathing. See if you can hear your breathing. Just keep attention to your heart space. Just kind of notice that space around your heart. Feel it. Just bring your attention. From that heart space, you can experience loving kindness. See if from that heart space you can almost imagine radiating outward loving kindness to the world. Breathe in the energy of the air. As you breathe out, loving kindness radiates out from the heart space to the world. Just kind of picture that in you. This space of loving kindness and compassion, no labels, no preconceived ideas, no fixed ideas about yourself or the world. Just us in this moment, breathing in. As we breathe out, just sending loving kindness into the world. Of course, not forgetting to feel loving kindness ourselves. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one in particular to be, just this moment, just breathing. Maybe smile to yourself. And maybe be thankful to yourself for taking this time today, for your practice, for all the wonderful things in your life. Ready, you can open your eyes. With that, thank you. Namaste. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you, Donna. As amazing as I build you, we love you, and we're sending lots of love to you at this time. Sensei Dave, thank you. Just the coolest guy. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. David or Philip and his team, thank you so much for making, as you just saw, the crazy of putting this together so streamlined and making us all look wonderful. If you have needs and wants in the audiovisual department, whether they be online or in person, see Philip and his team. Following the morning service from 11:45 to 12:15, we have a deep dive. The link is in the post. And if needed, the password is truth.
That's on Zoom. That's on Zoom, not on Facebook.
I flipped that around today?
No.
I just didn't speak it.
You didn't speak it. Zoom.
At 5:45 this afternoon, you may be watching that in reality, but in the evening on Sunday, we rebroadcast the morning service so as you can double back and check it out. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel. Reminding you also that you can search in that channel under playlists, either by topic or by faith. Next week we will hear another talk on judgment from our Native American representative Will Davis and Brother Keith Leon singing us some amazing songs, I'm sure.
If you would like to join this endeavor, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org, push the donate button in the center of the page. Right now we're just going to take a minute and express a little gratitude. So take a breath, think about all the things in your life that you are grateful for, And we say, Spirit, thank you so much for everything that the pod is, the pod does, the pod has, and mostly what the pod sends out into the world. All the good vibes to all the people that watch, and also all the people that help put this together and put a part of themselves into it, because we are so, so grateful for all of them, the musicians and the speakers and our team. So we say thank you, and we say amen.
Amen.
Okay, last thing, we're going to do our energetic healing circle. Let's bring to your mind's eye anyone that could use some extra love this week, either physical, mental, emotional, spiritual help. Bring them into the center of this circle. We're going to join our energy together, listen to this last song, and just send it out. And also open up and get some on you too. Yeah, it helps. It helps. It's real. Energy's real. Promise. So we'll listen to this last song together, and we will see you in the deep dive, or this Sunday evening, or sometime during the week. Watch the service whenever you get a chance. And thank you. We appreciate you.
See you soon.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of